Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, there's your clicker. That's the board.
Okay, thank you. Great.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, because it picks up kind of like the room noise as well, so that.
Yes, you're going back in line.
Anyone else comes in, I will direct them back here.
Everybody came prepared, I love it.
Look it up.
All right. On down there. Ready?
We're ready.
I was gonna say, we're about 5 minutes past, so we'll just go ahead and get started. So I already introduced myself to them, but I'm Nick Ruley. Been with Keller Williams, 6 years in real estate, all here at Southern Hills. My wife and I serve our wife team, so the education chairs for the ALC committee. So let's get started. So we're gonna start with. Boring now. Okay. So boring stuff, as always, apply with the TCPA and other federal and state laws. Including for B2B calls and texts, never call or text a number over any do not call list and do not send any auto dialers or voice or pre-recorded messages without prior consent. Contact your attorney to ensure your compliance. Keller Williams Realty has carefully prepared all materials. We do not guarantee their accuracy or express or apply warranties on information. The WRI may change the material at any time without notice. Materials may contain hypothetical examples and exercises meant to illustrate aspects of KWRI's financial growth and investment models, including calculations of profit sharing contributions, calculation of agent compensation, and evaluation of market centers financial results, agent productivity strategies. So you guys get the gist.
Nick, if you wanna hide that top bar, you click on more and basically button for the halfway down.
I
feel like you mean.
All right, there we go. All right, so kind of course overview today. More lead generation, capture leads with social media. So what we're going to go over today is the 10-5-1 engagement system. Is everyone here familiar with the 10-5-1 system? Great. And then we'll go over posting practices, social media strategies, and then we'll end up with recaps and ahas, and then the daily success system. And we'll be able to get to that since this is a 3-hour course. But so takes time to learn something, more time to implement it, and even longer to approach mastery of it. Would you guys feel like this is something you agree with? Do you feel like it's something that correlates to your business model?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna start with the engagement system. So obviously, silly question doing here. I use the social media. I raise your hand. So it's a very powerful tool then it's free, which is the best part. Expands your spirit and helps you engage with your followers. So for the 10.5.1 system. Basically what it is you wanna do 10 likes, 5 posts or engagements, and then, or sorry. 10 likes, 5 comments, and then 1 direct engagement or post, so. So, So you want to identify social media engagement strategies that add value to the people in your network. Today we want to start thinking about what we'll learn. Let's consider the questions we might have and what we're like to learn about. So what you're going to do first is find a partner and have a 5-minute conversation about your questions and what you would like to learn more about, and jot down your notes in your participant guide so that it sticks. So,
Think so. Do you mean learn more about social media, learn more about
kind of
different
like,
platforms?
yeah, like what you would like to learn more about in terms of how to use social media as an engagement tool. So,
We haven't had discussion.
Yeah,
Just wanna
yeah,
honor-
you guys- you guys wanna pair up and-
Well, we could probably.
I jumped ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
Might be good to do this in groups, so they.
So, let's see. In terms of, I guess, what you would like to learn more about, I found that in terms of social media. A lot of people, I mean, it's easy to go on social media and post like, oh, rates went down 0.25% today. Like, if you're looking to buy a house, reach out to me, like, that's easy kind of stuff, like, how do you get people to actually respond to those kind of things? And I found that the biggest thing is value add. Like, and even if it's reposting somebody else's thing, like I've seen tons of things online that. You know, it's kind of the rip off and repeat, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, if there's something that you find interesting. Like a little nugget that you can pull from something that you've seen on, you know, a social media platform, that you can use that kind of. Not necessarily recreate it, but rebrand it to how it fits like your business. So, I think a lot of things that people overlook is the analytics behind it. I don't know who here uses Google and like leans into Google reviews. You do? Does anybody else? I'm a big advocate of that. So like Google, even Facebook, they have great free analytical tools. You can see who's following you, who's engaging with you. And how many of those people that are engaging with you are already followers of you on any kind of platform. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. So I think learning how to use those tools and get more engagement is really important. And we'll kind of go over.
So those things, right on the. It was just like the Keller Williams Realty page or whatever. It was talking about Instagram. Specifically, which I Instagram, for a long time, I think it's dead, but anyway, it's just my own personal opinion, probably because I don't use it, but I never really have it. It's like, but, was talking about your bio. Yeah. It says most agents miss out on growth because they forget that Instagram is now a search engine. If you're still treating your feed like a digital billboard, you're leaving leads on the table. So today we're breaking down the 5 non-negotiable shifts every agent needs to make to actually grow in 2026. Basically it says like you need to edit your profile, like your bio, because it isn't for your followers, it's for people searching because they're using Instagram as a search engine. It says most agents write their bio like a business card. Instagram treats it like a search result, but I don't understand from this. Does that mean, because the way it's written, most agents write their bio like a business card. Are they saying that's good or bad? I don't.
Sounds like it would be good if someone's searching.
But the way it's written,
Yeah,
it kind of
right,
sounds
I
bad.
agree.
turn on discovery, so you wanna make your profile public, of course, you wanna make sure that it's set as a professional account. Allow search indexing. And add searchable keywords to your bio, meaning like. Annie Venerable. Covington real estate agent, or Covington real estate, Covington Kentucky real estate agent. But are there other things that you should put in your bio, or should it just be that?
For Instagram.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure. I know we discussed one time in here that for Facebook, everybody has a real estate agent and they said you want to put in digital creator because you're more searchable.
Yeah.
Like real estate agent, it doesn't syndicate as well in terms of when people are searching on search engines, your Facebook profile comes up better if you have digital creator instead of real estate agent, and then have real estate agent dropped lower somewhere in your like description.
like in your bio.
Yeah, so like what your job title, like digital creator, and then real estate agent as a sub
Oh, I see.
thread. So I'm not sure why the algorithm works that way. I just know that it does because they showed us how to do that and encourage us all to do that.
Got it.
Right here. But, okay, so. That's it. So it's important to know that with social media, just like any other public facing marketing, make sure that you include Keller Williams, Seven Hills. In any kind of outward branding. So if you're posting just listed and you have a new listing, or if you're posting an open house or something like that, just make sure. You have all the branding you want of yourself and your team or whatever, but just make sure that you always have Keller Williams, Seven Hills on there somewhere.
Does that need to be in the like photo?
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, cause if you, let's say you're using Canva to like create a flyer for something, whatever, open house. That you're gonna post on social media, does it need to be in the picture, or does it need to be in the caption?
It needs to be either in the picture, and I think it's like what they call the one click rule. So if there's a link. To another page, it has to be on that page that link leads to, or it has to be either in the picture or in the caption, I believe. It has to be somewhere that's
Okay, so it could
viewable.
be in either.
Yeah, it can be either, but it does have to.
If you do a picture like Tip Tuesday and you've done it in Canva, does it have to be on that? I know maybe that's.
If it's just,
but-
yeah, if it's just a one page flyer from Canva and there's no captions, just drop it in like the bottom left corner.
A question is always like, what if someone, if I don't put it, if I just put it in the caption,
Mhm.
and then someone, I guess, shares it. I don't know. Anyway,
So it may
too
not-
many questions. I
The
do,
caption
this
should,
is like actually something I have a lot of questions around,
Yeah.
because I don't understand the rules.
the caption should travel if you share it.
Okay,
But that's a little more in depth than we're gonna get
Okay,
into
sorry.
today, but that's fine. So that's that, so. We already.
I guess one of the questions that I have is like with the analytic engagement, what type? Like, what is the actual,
goal for it, like,
what is, yeah, what are the things that? Yeah, what's the goal?
for the analytics,
And, yeah, what contributes to that the most, I would say.
right, I mean, because having statistics is great, but. If you use them, like, what are you using them for? And like, what are some like benchmarks I should be looking for?
Well, that's kind of what the 10-5-1 system is gonna go over, is like, this is in the 80-20 rule, this is how you're gonna drive those numbers up, and then, so, let's say. Like, say you like 10 different things on 10, like from 10 different areas on Facebook or something. Which ones are getting the most engagement and driving those analytics up, like when you. Like, or repost, like an ASPCA or like Kent County Animal Shelter says this dog's for adoption, and you share that and you get 54 likes and 12 comments.
I see, so.
That,
Okay.
and then you can track like, okay, that repost drove my analytics up a lot more than. Like a Canva, happy Tuesday, happy hour at blah, 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 and you.
So you're thinking, oh, I should post
Yeah.
more Kent County.
Yeah, what should you
animal shelters.
repost, what should you be liking, and then when you directly engage something or someone or a company or entity, what's getting the most engagement back? And we'll kind of go over like, don't engage in ghosts, that's like way later on in this, so.
Seems to me too, like, there's different qualities of engagement too, because just like a like is not the same kind of engagement as somebody who's commenting or, asking for more information or engaging with other people, so. I guess I just wonder about like how to measure that success in terms of like quality versus quantity, because you could have 800 views and not really have the kind of meaningful, like those are still touches, I guess, and awareness, but it's not the kind of engagement that might necessarily convert somebody to. Yeah, well, yeah, I guess. That's a big question.
Well, this is kind of like, this class is kind of like the baseline of like how you should start out. If you follow the 10-5-1 and the 80-20, your overall social media presence will get elevated and you can start. If you do this consistently over time, you'll be able to see what's working for you and what's not, and kind of like where you should focus more of your efforts.
And can you only run analytics like through your business page? Like that's only, right? Like if it's your personal page, you.
Correct.
Okay.
As the way and that's another thing, that's a very good question, is if your accounts, like my accounts are linked, my business page and my personal page. But the way I have it right now, I can't get my analytics from my personal page to transfer over
Right.
to my business page, so. And some people run everything, they run all their personal stuff, and so that might be, some people like that business model, some people like separation. Some people don't even have a business page, so they're kind of unfortunately missing out on that analytics part of that, so.
Do you share things from your business page to your personal page?
I did.
Okay, I do, I wondered what people did and if that's best practice. I feel like I have more people over here on my personal page that I would like to see this thing.
All right, so. But it is important, I mean, regardless, to be active on some sort of social media platform. Anyway, what's the one I think you would say is the most, you're the most active on? Would you say it's like Facebook?
Yeah.
Facebook. Chris, what about you?
I mean, active, do you mean participating?
Mhm.
I was like,
I feel like
probably,
it's the easiest.
what do I enjoy most is TikTok, but like, what do I use most for business for me? Facebook, I don't know, I probably kind of dropped out of Instagram. It's been at least like 6 or 7 years, just because. My own personal preference is I just don't like the platform as much. I don't know why. It just wants, it's all ads, mine is just all ads. So from a like. In scrolling point of view, I just don't like it, but anyway.
Yeah. Chris, what about you? What's your go-to social media?
I just doom scroll whatever I.
Well, that's the whole point of this, is we want to stop the scroll. So, I mean, liking someone's page or post obviously is not going to stop the scroll, but.
It's putting a little bit more intention behind your tube scrolling, you know.
Yeah, and
because-
people do look at that. I mean, I know when people get, happy birthdays and, or, stuff like that. I've seen people get 200 and something and they respond to every single one. Wow.
Yes, I
You
do
didn't
that.
just love
I
that
do
they said happy birthday, you actually responded. And people notice that.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of get into that as to why re-engaging. So when you put something out there and someone comments or likes it, or, whatever, re-engaging back is really, really important, but that's a little bit later on. So beyond the likes of the 10-5-1, we want to do the 5 comments. So going back to when I was talking about like the birthday post, we kind of want to go a little bit above and beyond that, saying happy birthday. And it's so easy now because they have, the happy birthday with the little arrow. You don't even have to put in the emojis. They do it for you and you just click it and they said, happy birthday, Stephen. You can have 7 people that have birthdays and just go click, 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 click. That's not very, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so in my past job, I just saw that, okay, so I know a realtor and he's PXP and then Bessa works where I used to work. And he posted happy birthday Judge. and it just came up. Like on the feed, I guess I'm not like big into Facebook or anything and I need to learn. But as I was scrolling through, it just said, happy birthday, Judge, right in there.
Yeah.
Instead of like on the judge's page, you know,
So
where,
he made an individual post
I guess so.
and tagged
tagged
it,
person.
yeah.
Okay, is that weird?
Not
No?
unusual, I mean, I would say it's weird, it's a little above and beyond what most people do.
Because I thought when I put happy birthday, I thought it was going like to them directly
Mhm.
and not like being posted out there for the whole world to see that I said happy birthday to that person. I don't know, I just,
So, on Facebook, on the right side of your homepage, it'll usually say who has birthdays that day, and if you click on that, it brings up a pop-up. Kind of write directly to them, to their
Directly to
page,
them,
well,
okay.
not directly, it'll go directly to their feed.
okay,
So if you wanna send it directly to them, you would have to direct message them. But,
Which is honestly a better practice.
which is honestly a better practice, yeah. So when you're commenting, like I said, going above and beyond, it's not Shakespeare, we're not writing the great rap, it's just. Instead of just clicking that little arrow button and saying happy birthday with a bunch of emojis you didn't put in. Actually write, a couple of lines, miss you, hope you're doing well, because. They're gonna see 100 or, happy birthday, Mary, happy birthday, Joe. Make it a great one or whatever. One liner, so as soon as they see one that's 2 lines, 3 lines, they're gonna stop and notice and probably say thank you or hopefully re-engage. But they're gonna notice it more than just, template easy.
And definitely if you send it as a direct
Yeah.
message, they'll see it.
I always send people happy birthdays on Facebook with a message and then I'll text them direct. Because there's days, I don't check my Facebook because I'm running around. Sure, we've all had days where you leave at 8 AM and you get home at 10. And you're not on social media because you're running around. So,
Never stop at traffic lights when you're doing it.
Yeah.
yeah,
You
right.
see all this.
So, and the important part about re-engaging is people, as humans, we want to be seen and we want to be heard. So when someone reaches out to you with a personal message, it's gonna resonate a lot more than just that, generic happy birthday blaster, and I keep going back to that, or, that just like or heart. So it's gonna stick with them for a while, and it's gonna make you more top of mind. Does anybody have you received a comment on social media that made you feel good recently that you can think of? Would you care to share?
Gosh, I'm like, yes, but can I say specifically?
Absolutely.
I'm meaning, can I remember exactly? what it
Oh, I
was?
thought
No,
you
but-
can I be specific?
I mean, I like social media because I'm not a social person and it allows me to be social. And not be like I'm.
You're an extroverted introvert?
Yeah, %. So,
Me too, that's fine. But I can think of, one for me is, we, have Australian shepherds and they're like our kids, we don't have kids. So anytime I'll post something and somebody says anything like nice about them, I'm like, oh, I love that person. Like, it'll be somebody that's, I'm friends with on Facebook that probably is, say the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. I really don't know them, but they're friends of a friend, and blah, blah, blah. But if they said something nice about my dog, I'm like, I want to go have drinks with that person. They're pretty cool. And then, so moving on from that, commenting is really important when people engage, make sure to re-engage back because they want to be seen, heard, and everybody likes validation. And when someone responds to you, you feel a little bit, a little bit validated that they took the time you took the time to respond to them. So you kind of feel a little bit of an expectation for them to at least acknowledge you and respond back. And get people thinking about you. So this is where we kind of get into, your new listing, your upcoming listing, your just closed, with the key and your clients are all happy, stuff like that. But you can be any, like I do reels, I do posts, I think the most engagement I get is just silly stuff that our dogs do when they're beating up on each other or falling off the couch or, you know, it's the little things that are personal that tend to, I feel like, get the most engagement. So it's important to let people into your life and see a little bit of like who you are, not necessarily who you are is also part of your brand, so they can't be completely separated, so. And like we talked about, private and direct messaging is a great way to show that you care, and it's in, you know, if there's a person in your life that, in this example, they say, if you have a friend, that is an artist, or you have a friend that just got a new job, like reaching out in those kind of moments, and those kind of things are like direct message worthy kind of things, or reposting that they, you know, just bought a new car. I mean, that's a big purchase for people and they're probably really excited about it. But things like that, when, or, you know, when you create your original post, it's like always important to follow the 80-20 rule, which is what we'll get into next. And that's kind of the personal and work-life blend. So any ahas from this part of the class?
Lots of questions.
Lots of
I like it.
No, it's fine. If you have any questions that you would like an aha to,
It just, you know, the thing about social media is it feels like it's always changing, because I think it is, so it's just, you know. You figure something out and then you're like, oh, this doesn't even matter, or, you know, by the time I figured it out, so.
What about, X, does somebody chat or? I don't.
not really.
But I mean, but I don't do anything with any social media right now, just to trying to get back into it. It's gonna probably kill me, but.
You know, I feel, it's my opinion, I feel like social media is like a CRM, and the best one is the one that you're gonna use, and I feel like if I see agents of myself included, like I've gotten sucked into this where it's like, oh my God, there's Threads, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. I'm sure I'm missing like 10 or 12 of them. You know, Gary Vee would say like, yes, you need to be active on every single one of them and like all these things, whatever, you know, in a perfect world. Yes, but I feel like you just like pick one. It's just like any other prospecting thing. I feel like you just pick one and go hard into it and do the best that you can in that one. And then once you feel like you've mastered it or whatever, then adding a second one. That's what feels like makes sense
Well,
to me.
that's a really good point, and I was gonna get into that. So people always ask me, well, what's the best social media platform? What's the one that's gonna syndicate the best? What's the one that's gonna drive my business? And I always tell them, it's the one you're actually gonna use. Like, if you are really good at Facebook posts and stuff like that, but you hate being on Facebook, that's not your avenue to success, because you're not gonna use it. It's like a diet, like, or a workout plan. If you hate yoga, you're not gonna stick with it. You need to find something else to do. Like, if your best social media platform is the one, like you said, the one you're actually going to utilize and use on a daily basis. So if that's X or Twitter or whatever, I don't think those are really the high driving ones, but yeah, it's basically whatever is gonna be the easiest and most comfortable, and the one you're actually gonna enjoy using. Because if you don't enjoy it. And here's another caveat, if you can, and this is kind of getting a little second level, all of these, like Facebook and Instagram, link your accounts, like don't make more work for yourself. Like, my accounts are linked, my Facebook, Instagram, X, like all of them are linked. So if I post something, and my wife's really good at this, she can probably explain it better. Because I used to post something on Facebook or make it real, and then I'm like, okay, now I gotta go put it on Instagram. She's like, why are you doing it twice? Why don't you just link your accounts and then it'll just syndicate between the two? You don't have to do it twice. So
Also, in command, I know you can schedule, like there's a place in Command where you can schedule, you've got photos, you've got things, whatever, you can schedule them. Does Command, if I have like multiple social media, like, will Command do that to multiple places or will it only do it to one? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Yeah, so like what the templates and stuff that we have in Command.
Yeah,
to
like
push
let's say I have
out.
a LinkedIn account, I use
Yeah.
LinkedIn and I use Instagram. If I schedule, I've made a flyer for something, whatever, and I schedule it through Command, does Command post it? Is that available?
That would be a Lindsay question.
Okay.
That's outside of my scope. I utilize Command pretty much solely as a CRM.
Okay.
And then, well, we do smart plans and then we utilize, if you guys don't use Scott River Marketing, I highly recommend them. They are phenomenal. We do a monthly newsletter. We literally just tell them what day we want it to go out. They create it, they send it out. And Command is great for, neighborhood updates and, sending out stuff like that. But that's kind of outside of the scope of what I use Command for, so, I mean, I can find things
That's
for
okay.
you. But, so on to the next is posting practices. And back to the 80-20. So obviously 80% of your posts should be something other than real estate. How many of you, and this is my little note that I wrote in here because this happens to me all the time. How many of you see a realtor on social media that posts nothing but real estate? It's annoying, right? It's boring. How many of you have snoozed or stopped following or deleted someone that posts nothing but real estate? Yeah, it's boring, it's old. People are tired of hearing the same stuff again. We get it. Real estate, that's all you do. You have any other hobbies, like anything? Or you don't want to seem like a robot, so. I guess why do you think it's important to not inundate people with nothing but real estate posts? Because you come off as non-authentic. You don't come off as, you come off as like a used car salesman, is how I put it. Doesn't really seem like it's who you are, and people tend to trust people they feel are authentic, and when you keep posting about one thing over and over again, that's like in like a sales pitch kind of way, you kind of lose your authenticity.
At family reunion, I can't remember the guy. Was talking about his book. I think the book was like called Story something or other. I can't remember that, although I have the book. They gave it away. Anyway, he was talking about that specifically. And even like, so your 20% real estate stuff, he talked about how to frame it. And what I see a lot, because it's just what we do. A lot of the stuff that I see from real estate agents online frames the agent as the hero. And we're not the hero. And of course, he talked about, he framed it in like a Lord of the Rings framework, which I really love because I love Lord of the Rings. And that we are not Frodo, like we're not the hero of the story. We're Gandalf. We're like, we're the helper. We're helping Frodo get to his goal. And I really liked that because that's not what you see all the time, where it's just like, oh, congratulations. I don't know. It's just like, oh, my clients, whatever. But like, if you can frame it in a way that makes your client the hero of the story.
I was just gonna say, I love the post where agents say, my clients worked so hard
Yeah.
to buy their first home. And then they give shout outs, thank you to blah, blah, blah title. So and so lending came through in the clutch, team effort, and like. Because really, they're doing a lot of the work. They're the ones, they're showing up to the showings with you, but they're on the back end turning in, paperwork to the lender. They're the ones that have to sit there and go through the title process and all that stuff too. Like, they're doing just as much, if not more work. And it's, a lot, we do this all day, every day. It's not really terrifying for us.
We're
For
not-
buyers and sellers.
We're not the hero.
Yeah, we're not the hero, and it's not terrifying. They're working really hard, so they should get a lot of the recognition. I really like that, that you help them along the way, but put them on post. It's not, I really like that. That's good. And also so back on the personal end, what are some things that we could post about? That come to mind, like.
Dogs.
Dogs.
I'm obsessed with my dogs.
Yeah.
Post like something.
Yeah, for sure.
When you put, when
My
you,
dog.
yeah. I really like when people put like traveling posts. I have a friend, she's a Cutco rep, and one day she'll be in Colorado, the next day she's in New Zealand, and the next day she's in Austria, and I'm like, I want your life.
Right.
And it's really fun and engaging, and I'd say 90% of the time has nothing to do with Cutco. It's just her adventures, and it's really fun.
I also, I love where I live. I love living in river cities because there are so many unique and amazing small businesses. And so I love highlighting my community.
Okay. And we'll kind of get down to that because that's adding value. We'll get down to that a little bit later. And other things you can post about is like what books you're reading, and people love posting about food. I like to share recipes. I love to cook. That's one of my things, other than dogs. If I find a good recipe, I like to share it with people.
Plants.
We can't keep them alive. I do too, but we have trouble with it. So now we're gonna look at your participant guide and make a list of 5 things that you're passionate about and use those interests as doorways into the real estate brand. And was anybody here on the 3rd day of the course? When they brainstorm their new social media brand and what their niche is? Does anybody have a really good grasp of what their niche is? I know it's tough.
Define for me, can you give me more of like a what do you mean?
So like so I know there's some agents that really are highly specialized in PA loans. There are agents that are hyper localized in certain areas. There are agents that are really good at, 90% of their business is referral business, and they have referral partners, multiple referral partners in every state. That's a really unique, like, they don't really sell a whole lot, but they refer out and get referrals. So, I'm trying to think what our niche is probably that it's not really a niche being dual licensed, but you're lived in Northern Kentucky most of our life, my whole life. Sarah's from Aurora, Indiana, so we have a very broad range, like being the Williamstown to or to the Indiana border, so or just necessarily kind of what your brand is, I guess.
I feel like I wouldn't have defined it this way, but it's this people tell me they kind of associate my brand with like River City, Covington, whatever.
Okay.
Just because I live there and I love it. So I'm always talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's an agent who's not here, but he is like, we joke like he's the king of Ludlow. Like he doesn't do much outside of Ludlow, but if it's a Ludlow listing, it's probably is, like that's his. And it's not, Ludlow's not a big city, but he's a high producer because Matt.
I know that.
Yeah. Like
He went to Ludlow High School. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
He's
it's
great.
like family went to Ludlow High School, I think, like generation.
So, some people, I guess, I don't know, music is kind of like an interest that they could post about. Stuff. Should have just skipped through this one before we did that, so live music, team sports, cooking, baking, exercising. Exercising and working out seems to be a big one that's kind of blown up in the last couple of years. I know the younger generation, it puts a really big emphasis on like personal health and fitness. They said like,
Insurance is expensive.
yeah, oh well, and I read something like something ridiculous, like over 50% of people under the age of like 25 don't drink alcohol or something. Like there's a huge, like, focus in that demographic on fitness. Pets, I mean, that's just an easy one. If you have pet or you love pets or you have, lean into that, that's what we have when people, and it's neutral, like, it's, people aren't getting offended if you post about your pet. So, like I said, 20% should be of your post should be about self-promotion, listings, open houses, awards. Awards are great, speaking events, good, awards are great, as long, I would just be very careful to not come off as grandstanding. Like most people, when they post, they say, I'm so humbled and grateful to be working with such great people that allowed me to get to where I am in my business to receive this award. Is a lot better than I'm top 10%, work with me. Like how you word things, syntax matters. And then also you can do inspirational quotes are always good. I'm really big, I have an affirmations app. I don't know if you guys do like daily affirmations or anything like that. Those are always fun, make people feel good. We tend to get a lot of engagement with those. Quotes, and this kind of have a foot in both camps. It can be a quote that, applies to your business as well as your personal life. They don't have to be, completely separated. They can be one and the same. And then you can always take that a step farther and go, instead of just posting it, saying like, what does that quote or what does that affirmation mean to you? Or like how you use that affirmation to overcome something in your life. Like I had one the other day that said something along the lines of, I'm not gonna let fear and anxiety dictate my course in life or something like that. And that's something I've dealt with in the past. It's, when I first started in business, I had a lot of anxiety about, I was not good at sitting down and talking to people, and that was something I had to overcome. And, when I was doing my first year or two in real estate, you would have had to drag me up here kicking and screaming. I probably would have called in sick, but I've never done it. So, it's those kind of things. Explain why you're posting them. People want to know your why, and that's, as real estate agents, when we have clients, we want to know their why. Why are you buying? Why are you selling? What's motivating your path that you're on? So people are interested in that. So, and also, okay, and then offer value added posts. I think it's the best thing you can do. So posting, like we said earlier, rates dropped from 6.5 to 6.35% national average. Call me today if you're interested in buying. Great, that's national average. What about in Northern Kentucky? What about in Cincinnati? So focusing on a micro environment versus like a broad environment. So every Wednesday I get emails from a lender, and it's weekly market update, and it's hyper localized. What's happening here? Like I don't care what the national, like home prices fell 3% nationwide. Okay, well here they didn't, and I get hyper localized. What's the market doing? What are the local rates? And what's happening in our community? And I look forward to that because it's useful information that I can then take and repost or send to my clients. So things that actually offer value in your business post. So instead of saying interest rates dropped, what if I told you 54% of first-time home buyers last year got help from somebody with their down payment? What if I told you last year 17% of new home sales were multi-generational sales? What if I told you that the net worth of a homeowner, national average, was 43 times that of someone that was renting? That's a little more engaging than, hey, rates dropped. What do you say? Like that's useful information. So maybe somebody's scared to ask somebody for help with a down payment. Maybe they think, if I rent versus own, it's not that big of a difference. It's the same payment, $2,200 for my mortgage, $2,200 for rent. Down the road, it's not. So things that offer value, are what people tend to that kind of stuff is what's gonna stop the scroll. No one's gonna stop the scroll because interest rates go, no, like. I mean, if it were something like the Fed plans to cut rates 4 times next year, yeah, that might pique someone's interest, but just. A little more in-depth things. Really help, so. And then we're kind of going back to what you were saying, Andy. Go above and beyond the 110%, so that last 10% is, highlighting. Things other than your business or other than yourself, so if you're promoting a local food bank, you were saying, well, you said you like to promote local businesses, look, and things like that. And being active in your community, like we have Red Day, we post about that, that's kind of business related. But it's important to all, offer public service as well, so that's kind of the above and beyond. So this gives examples of update on property taxes increase, school closures, food banks, animal shelters and needs, things like that. If there's volunteer opportunities, if there's blood drive, I think that's something we've talked about doing here, getting Oxford's mobile unit to come up here and do a blood drive. We talked about that a couple of times in the past. Can you guys think of anything else like? Just posts that you can make that are just kind of, not necessarily public service announcements, but like,
Like fun stuff, I mean.
yeah, like fun
there's-
stuff, like,
There's so much going on.
yeah,
at Greater Cincinnati, like, you could. Never possibly go to all of it.
yeah. I forget who it is in the office, it's, can't remember, but she said, what's happening in Cincinnati this week, and it's like a list of everything, like with music festivals, art shows, things like that, like that's stuff you can post, that's not necessarily personal or business related. But it's, uplifting the community in kind of a, not necessarily call to action, but just kind of being involved in more of a neutral way. But still getting your name, so. Do we have any ahas from that segment?
I think that information, listening to how you guys post and how you feel gets more engagement versus
Yeah.
making yourself and speaker. I try not to, but a lot of good things to go back and reflect on.
All right. All right, so now we'll go through social media strategy. So. So this says, we want to. Okay, so obviously we're using the social media strategy as part of the 365 touch system. So connect with people, or who you may have met in one way, shape, or form. Like we said, posting about your neighborhood. People, I tend to feel, are visually driven, so including images is always a good thing. And you post about listings, like we said, and the big thing is, like I said, to engage. This is kind of a little bit repetitive. The different social media sites have a favorite platform to post on.
One of my own like strategies is, so if I'm seeing something on Facebook. I don't care who it is, I don't care if it's the person I love the most in life, if their post is like this long,
Yeah.
I'm literally never gonna click see more. Like,
TLDR.
I know, it's like, I always think about it like, when I was a kid, my grandma would give me a birthday card and that birthday card would have like, this beautiful 500-word poem, or like, I'm not reading it, I'm just wanna open it up and see if there's like $5 in it. So sometimes I want to write a lot more, but I won't do it, like I won't do it, because I don't think our attention span
Mhm.
is so short, I'm not reading it all,
Mhm.
get to the point.
Yeah.
That's just my own personal strategy. if I have to click see more, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, and I think, it's kind of the nature of how we are nowadays, our attention spans, they say, I've heard it different ways, I've heard. People know if they're gonna buy a home within the first 7 seconds when they walk in, I've heard people know within the first 30 seconds. It's not a long time, it's very short, and and then I think for scrolling, it's like less than a second. If they're gonna stop and actually look at what you posted, so. Getting people to engage in it's tough, so that's why we kind of go over this kind of stuff to try, get your brand out there, get your name out there without coming off too sales pitchy. So keeping current and potential customers aware of the latest market trends in their neck of the woods is kind of a callback to keeping things hyper localized. That's a really good way to make sure that you position yourself kind of as an expert, while also providing valuable information. So making big, broad statements, like they said, about the state of the economy as a nation, the state of whatever. I see these all the time. I'm terrible at that. I watched YouTube and I have these CNBCs and it says, "Oh, this is the housing market right now," and I'm like, not where we are. They're like, it's just a broad brush painted across real estate as a whole. So keeping things local and hyper localized makes you look more like an expert. So if you can kind of that's why we're focusing on, when you post about your community and, specific things, it makes you come off as very knowledgeable in those areas. So. And then this does explain, so with the KW app, there are a lot of customizable templates and in Command. So it's easy to build and highlight and amplify your business. We kind of already talked about this, smart plans and things like that. That's kind of a whole nother class in and of itself, how to utilize Command for those kinds of customizable templates. And don't be afraid to, this is going back to Google reviews, don't be afraid to post positive client reviews. I found you can self-promote yourself all you want, and you can make yourself the most findable real estate agent on Facebook or Instagram. But as soon as someone pulls your name, the first thing they're going to do, they're going to go and they're going to Google you, and then they're going to see your reviews. So don't be afraid to post it. I mean, I do it all the time. I have, whether it's with contractors, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to Google you and see what your reviews are. People trust reviews more than they're going to trust what you said, because you're biased and the people that are reviewing you may be biased too, but at least it's 1 degree of separation. So don't be afraid to post those, especially if they're positive. And that's why I really lean into Google reviews, because that's what people are going to be looking at. So yeah, word of mouth recommendations in real estate carry the same weight as they do in any industry. Highlighting a quote from a happy customer is a great way for agents to establish credibility while allowing their brand to shine. Yeah, and I think I already asked this. Who actively advocates, whether it's Google or Trustpilot or whatever, advocates for clients to leave a review somewhere. You do. And you said you use
Google.
Yeah. Highly recommended. And this comes back to, okay. Highlight your business and your social media strategies, utilize tech developments and post client testimonials. And this is coming back to the do not post and ghost. Nothing turns people off more than if they take the time to, especially if they ask you a question. If you post something and then they say, "Oh, that's really interesting. Where did you find that?" or "Tell me more," and then nothing. That's not a good look, so try to avoid posting something and then never engaging with it again, or not engaging with people that engage back. So. Great posts will lead to steady streams of engagement, comments, likes, and shares. Don't let them sit. The more participants engage in social media, the more they'll be engaged with their followers. And then, does anybody time block for social media, or are we all kind of just scrolling when we get a chance, posting when we get a chance?
I know I will have to time block. I will have to do it.
Yeah.
You should.
I feel like I like to post in the morning and then I like to engage at night. While I'm pretending.
Well, that makes sense. You post in the morning, you see who's responded. And during the day,
Yeah.
and you can respond to them at night. That's a good plan. So you kind of split. You, sounds like you time block, but you time block two separate hunts of time block morning, time block night. So for posting and stuff, I don't really time block anything like that, but for re-engagement, I think like Annie does at night, I think that's really important. So that you're not haphazardly doing it and then you don't miss things, like if you're time blocking, you can go, okay, you know, it's really easy. You have your notifications, you can see who's responded to what you posted or what you put out there. So, and then take the time to acknowledge them. And why it's important to acknowledge when others comments on your likes, like we said, it makes them feel good, it makes them feel seen and heard, validated. So re-engagement, it's really important. I can't stress that enough. Yeah. And so, okay, and so when you do navigate the online world, it's important to find communities where you can add value. At the end of the day, people will feel that you're offering them value through Facebook groups and communities. You can offer value to literally thousands of people. So this comes down to kind of like we talked about before, what are your interests? Those are kind of like finding the right communities to be a part of can take time and be an investment. My wife and I are social committee for our HOA, we live in Tuscany. So we have a Tuscany Facebook page for the whole community, and that's where we do a lot of our engagements because it's local. We have friends that live there that were clients and they bought in our neighborhood because we said, you need to check it out. We love it up here, and we keep up with a lot of them on social media. We get to engage a lot of our neighbors on social media. So that's a community that we really lean into. It's kind of like farming, only instead of door knocking, we're just like the other day, neighbor, I don't know him from anybody, lives up around the corner from me. He's like, my mower broke down. Can somebody come mow my grass? And my wife's like, my husband can. I wasn't even home. He's like, he'll be there in like half an hour. And then she texted me, hey, guess what? No, she did ask me first, but
I do the same thing to my husband. He's not even really saying things like.
trying to think of any other communities. Or do you guys have any like Facebook groups that you're part of? I'm trying to think of some of them on. Are there any that you like are on the regular? No. Okay, well, well. Wow, that was really bad. So,
I asked, Lindsay and Kelly yesterday, a class that I used to teach at my previous brokerage was like teaching people how to build a social media calendar. Okay? And she was like, yes, absolutely, we're gonna do this because the method, like we can sit in this room for 45 minutes and you can build out a social media calendar for like 6 months. Super easy. And like, because that's part of that's just kind of part of it, I feel like, is like wake up, like, what are you gonna talk about today, what you gonna post today, and then it's like 6 o'clock and you haven't figured it out. So it's really easy. And I mean, you could build it out for a whole year if you wanted, but we're only gonna build it out for 6 months, but then, of course, you won't be able to create the content.
Yeah.
But you'll have a clear plan for the content, like every single day, or however much you choose to post. If you're posting every day, great, but, so.
And this is.
At some point, well, I've told them, I was like, I really wanna teach this class because I'll just have everyone bring their laptop and like literally you'll walk out of the room, like. You'll know what you're doing for the next 6 months.
Yeah, see that, any questions? I don't know, get back to.
You post anything real estate on your group page for your community, try to not be sales.
We try to not be salesy, if it's. If it's a listing in the community, then yeah, we'll say come by our open house and, we usually. Have like. We usually do like a giveaway when we do open houses, so I think the last one. We did guess the jelly beans in the jar because it was Easter. And we gave away like, it was in Fort Thomas and we gave away a $50 gift card to Green Line, which is a local Fort Thomas restaurant. That's right up the street from where the house is. So we post stuff like that, but just on the regular, no, it's mostly like, hey, there's a lost cat or there's a dog wandering down the street or things like that, or we'll say, hey, bingo's tonight, or blah, 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 blah. We try to not do that too much, but if we do have a listing or an open house in that neighborhood, then yeah, we'll actually. So. But. Hey, Chris, how do I get my bar back up, do you know? I don't know, it's.
I feel like it.
I don't know, I don't know what happened.
Oh. Wow.
No, I'm trying to pull it back up. Okay. Perfect, oh, there was nobody online, so. There we go. So they're not missing out on anything. All right, so anybody have any questions or any? Not anything else, like. I guess. Trying to think of some good, best industry practices, I really. Firmly believe in, if you. Are authentic to yourself. That translates on social media, and especially when you post things. It's okay to be a little vulnerable, I've seen people. Us real estate agents, I'm not gonna say who, but like. Post then, you know, that don't say names, and they don't say names of clients, and they're saying, clients have, missed out on blah, 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 and they're heartbroken, or, or sharing like really personal stuff about their personal life, like, it's okay to let people see you as a person and as a real estate professional, like, they can be one and the same, when you try to draw this hard line between the two of them, I feel like it doesn't really translate as well. Oh, and my last caveat, is, post about whatever you want. I would highly recommend whatever your political leaning is, whatever it is, do not broadcast it. One, most people don't really care, and two, you can lose clients real fast. Because when the times we live in, it's very, so each their own, but I would just avoid any kind of, political posting if you can. Some people can't help it. There's certain agents I see that post every day, and I don't know how they still have clients. So be cognizant about what you're posting, but at the same time, don't be afraid to be personal and let people in and see who you are. Like, and that'll come, trust me, it'll come through. And then going back to the analytics, I will have to get it with Lindsay in terms of, I want to get with Lindsay in terms of the command systems, how we can utilize those. Because this is all well and good, but it'd be great to have systems to kind of automate it a little bit. I know command has a lot of them, it's just not, like I said, I wish I used it more like that, it would probably make my life easier, but I have to look into that. Anybody, no other questions there? All right.
Do you have any clients who are looking for a patio home in Tuscany?
I do not.
Dang.
Do you have one coming up?
Yeah, it's nice. It's got a great backyard, it's got a hot tub.
What street?
Amici.
Oh,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Yes, thank you.